Hi Sam. I'm glad you're here today. We're diving into a really interesting word.
Ersatz.
Hey Alex. What does
Ersatz
mean?
Great question.
Ersatz.
Means replacement or substitute in English. The most common usage is when talking about substitute products, like
Ersatzkaffee.
which is coffee substitute. Just a heads up, it can sometimes have a negative connotation, like something that isn't as good as the original.
So, is there a difference between
Ersatz
and just saying?
Substitute
Yes, there is.
Ersatz.
Often implies that the replacement is inferior. For example, if you say,
Ersatzmaterial.
it suggests that the material is not as good as the real thing.
Got it. What about the grammar?
Ersatz.
Is a masculine noun, so we use the article.
Der.
In the plural, it becomes.
Die Ersatze.
Remember, it's masculine because it ends in.
Atz.
So, can you give me some conjugations or examples?
Sure. Although
Ersatz.
is a noun, you can see it in action. For example, you might say,
Ich brauche einen Ersatz.
meaning I need a substitute. In the past, you could say,
Ich brauchte einen Ersatz.
for I needed a substitute. And in the perfect, you might say,
Ich habe einen Ersatz gefunden.
which means I found a substitute.
That makes sense. Where does the word
Ersatz
come from?
Interesting question.
Ersatz.
Comes from the German verb,
Ersetzen.
which means to replace. It traces back to Middle High German and has roots in the Old High German.
Ersetzen.
That's really fascinating. So, how is the word built up?
Well, it's made up of the prefix which often indicates a completed action, and the root,
Setzen.
meaning to set or to place. So, together, it conveys the idea of setting something in place as a replacement.
I see. What about similar words?
There are quite a few. For example, there's,
Ersetzen.
which we just talked about, meaning to replace. Then there's,
Ersatzteile.
meaning spare parts, and,
Ersatzspieler.
meaning substitute player.
What else?
You can also find words like,
Ersatzkaffee.
which is coffee substitute, and,
Ersatzlösung.
meaning substitute solution. Other examples include
Ersatzgüter,
4. Substitute goods.
Ersatzverhalten,
Meaning substitute behavior, and
Ersatzherz,
4. Substitute heart.
That's a lot of substitutes. Can we practice using
Ersatz,
in sentences?
Absolutely. Imagine you're at a cafe and you don't want regular coffee. You could say,
Haben Sie einen Ersatz für Kaffee?
which means, do you have a substitute for coffee?
I can try.
haben Sie einen Ersatz für Tee?
Perfect. Now, think about a situation at work where you need to discuss a substitute. You might say,
Ich brauche einen Ersatz für dieses Produkt.
which means I need a substitute for this product.
Okay, I'll say.
Ich brauche einen Ersatz für diese Datei.
Great job. Now, let's say you're talking about a movie that was a poor substitute for a book. You could say,
Der Film war ein schlechter Ersatz für das Buch.
Oh, I like that one. Are there any memory hints for remembering the gender of
Ersatz,
definitely. The
Atz,
ending is a good hint that it's masculine, like other words such as
Schatz,
and.
Platz,
You can imagine a treasure chest filled with substitutes.
That's a fun image. How about usage notes?
Ersatz,
Is typically informal, so you can use it in casual conversation. Common phrases include
Ersatzteile bestellen,
4. To order spare parts, and
Ersatz suchen,
meaning to look for a substitute. Just be careful not to confuse it with
ersetzen,
which is the verb form.
I'll keep that in mind. Can we go through some example sentences?
Sure. Here's one.
Ich habe einen Ersatz für das defekte Gerät gefunden.
Which translates to I found a substitute for the defective device. Another example is
Der Lehrer hat einen Ersatz für den abwesenden Schüler gesucht.
meaning the teacher looked for a substitute for the absent student.
What about another one?
How about
Ich habe das Original nicht, also benutze ich einen Ersatz.
this means I don't have the original, so I'm using a substitute.
These are helpful. Can we do a quick recall check now?
Of course. First question, what is the gender of?
Ersatz.
It's masculine, right?
Correct. Next question, can you give me a sentence using
Ersatz.
in the plural form?
Die Ersätze sind nicht gut.
That's close, but remember to say
Die Ersätze sind nicht so gut.
to convey that they are not as good. Next question, what does
Ersatzkaffee.
mean?
It means coffee substitute.
Exactly. Fourth question, what's the verb form related to?
Ersatz.
Ersetzen.
Right again. Last question, can you provide an example of a phrase using
Ersatz.
How about?
Ich brauche einen Ersatz für meinen Stuhl.
Perfect. You're doing great.
Thanks, Alex. This has been really informative.
I'm glad you think so. Remember,
Ersatz.
can be useful in many contexts. Just keep practicing, and you'll get the hang of it.
I will. Thanks for the encouragement.
You're welcome, Sam. See you next time.